What if I told you that 3 plants growing wild in forgotten corners of the world hold secrets that could transform your garden into a fortress against pests, diseases, and negative energy? You might think I've been spending too much time in the compost pile, but stick with me here. For thousands of years, shamans and indigenous healers across every continent have cultivated specific plants not just for their medicinal properties, but for their remarkable ability to protect and purify the spaces where they grow. These aren't exotic specimens that require special permits or cost a fortune to acquire. These are hardy, reliable plants that you can grow in your own backyard, and they'll work overtime to keep your garden healthy while providing you with natural remedies that pharmaceutical companies would love to patent. The fascinating part is that modern science is finally catching up to what traditional cultures have known all along. These plants produce compounds that actively repel harmful insects, inhibit fungal growth, and create what researchers call allelopathic effects that benefit neighboring plants. What makes these 3 herbs particularly special is their dual nature. They serve as both guardians and healers, creating protective barriers around your property, while offering incredible versatility for natural health and household uses. The shamans who first cultivated these plants understood something pretty profound about the relationship between plants and their environment. They recognized that certain species could create energetic and biological shields that actually extend far beyond their physical presence. White sage, the master purifier that clears more than just negative energy. White sage stands as the undisputed champion of protective plants, and honestly, there's solid science backing up its legendary reputation. This silvery-leafed perennial contains over 50 different compounds that actively repel insects, inhibit bacterial growth, and create an antimicrobial field around your garden. When you crush its leaves, you're releasing thujone camphor and eucalyptol, compounds that insects absolutely despise, but that create a refreshing, clean scent that humans find pleasant. Growing white sage requires understanding its Mediterranean origins. This plant thrives in well-draining soil with minimal water once established, making it perfect for xeriscaping or areas where other herbs struggle. Plant it in full sun with sandy or rocky soil, and it will reward you with years of reliable protection. The key is resisting the urge to overwater. White sage actually becomes more potent and aromatic when stressed by drought conditions. The protective benefits extend throughout your entire garden ecosystem. White sage naturally deters aphids, spider mites, and even larger pests like rabbits and deer. Its deep taproot helps break up compacted soil, while its surface roots create a network that supports beneficial mycorrhizal relationships with neighboring plants. Many experienced gardeners report that vegetables planted near white sage show increased resistance to fungal diseases and produce higher yields. Harvesting white sage properly ensures continuous protection throughout the growing season. Cut stems just above a leaf node during the plant's active growing period, and it will respond by producing even more aromatic foliage. The harvested material can be dried and used throughout your home for natural air purification, or fresh leaves can be rubbed directly on skin as an insect repellent during garden work. Mugwort, the dream plant that keeps nightmares away from your garden. Mugwort might look like an unassuming weed, but honestly, this hardy perennial packs incredible protective power that extends both above and below ground. The plant's extensive root system produces compounds that inhibit the growth of harmful soil pathogens while encouraging beneficial bacteria and fungi. Above ground, mugwort's distinctive silvery green foliage contains absinthin and other sesquiterpene lactones that create a natural pest barrier. This remarkable plant adapts to virtually any soil condition from heavy clay to sandy loam, and tolerates both drought and excessive moisture better than most garden herbs. Mugwort spreads through underground rhizomes, which means one plant can eventually protect a large area of your property. However, this aggressive spreading habit means you'll want to plant it where you can contain its growth or in areas where you want natural ground cover. The protective benefits of mugwort become most apparent during the summer months when garden pests are at their peak. The plant's strong aromatic compounds, repel moths, flies, and mosquitoes, while attracting beneficial predatory insects that help control harmful pest populations. Experienced organic farmers often plant mugwort along the borders of vegetable gardens to create a natural barrier against invading insects. Mugwort also demonstrates remarkable soil improvement properties. Its deep roots bring nutrients from subsoil layers to the surface, where they become available to shallow-rooted plants nearby. So, the plant's leaves contain pretty high levels of potassium and other minerals, making it an excellent addition to compost piles, or for creating nutrient-rich plant teas that you can use as natural fertilizers. Sweetgrass, the harmony creator that brings balance to your growing space. Sweetgrass really represents the perfect complement to those more aggressive protective plants, offering gentle but persistent benefits that, create harmony throughout your garden ecosystem. This native North American grass produces coumarin, which is actually the same compound found in vanilla. That's what gives it its characteristic sweet scent, and it also provides natural antifungal and antibacterial properties. Unlike many protective plants that work through repulsion, sweetgrass operates by attraction, specifically attracting beneficial insects, birds, and even beneficial soil microorganisms that contribute to overall garden health. The plant's long, flowing leaves create microclimates that shelter beneficial ground beetles and spiders, while its flowers attract native bees and butterflies that improve pollination throughout your garden. Growing sweetgrass successfully requires understanding its preference for consistent moisture and rich organic soil. This plant thrives in areas that receive morning sun and afternoon shade, making it perfect for transition zones between full-sun vegetable gardens and shadier ornamental areas. So, sweetgrass spreads slowly through underground runners, creating these dense aromatic mats that, help suppress weed growth while also providing habitat for beneficial insects. The harvesting and use of sweetgrass really requires patience and respect for the plant's growing cycle. Traditional harvesting practices involve taking only 1/3 of the available growth and, never cutting closer than 4 inches to the ground. The harvested grass can be braided and dried for long-term storage, creating natural air fresheners that honestly also repel stored grain pests and moths in pantries and closets. Creating your sacred garden defense system. Now this is where the real magic happens. When you combine these 3 plants strategically throughout your property, you get the best results. White sage, when planted near entrances and seating areas, sets clear boundaries and helps to repel unwanted insects. Mugwort, established along property lines and garden borders, creates expanding zones of protection that, improve soil health while also deterring pests. And sweetgrass, when planted in gathering areas and near windows, brings positive energy and attracts beneficial wildlife to your space. Each plant contributes unique compounds to your garden's chemical ecosystem, creating layered protection that becomes more effective over time. The combination of repellent and attractant plants ensures that harmful pests are discouraged while beneficial insects and soil organisms are welcomed and supported. These 3 sacred herbs offer modern gardeners access to ancient wisdom that creates healthier, more productive growing spaces while providing natural materials for home and personal use. By incorporating these plants into your landscape, you're joining a tradition that spans millennia and cultures, using nature's own protective systems to create thriving gardens that work in harmony with natural cycles. Don't forget to subscribe to Plant Place for more evidence-based gardening wisdom that combines traditional knowledge with modern growing techniques. Share this guide with fellow gardeners who appreciate the power of working with nature rather than against it. And let us know in the comments which of these sacred herbs you're planning to add to your garden sanctuary.